guys, welcome back to the channel. Let's see, a few things here. Before I discuss about the title, the one that got away, I'm going to talk a little bit more about my X5. It will be for sale. I'm going to be posting it here probably within the next week or so. I'm going to post it on probably CarGurus and get it listed. And also, this was a hard decision for me to sell because I like this. I like this X5. I mean, I didn't even think about it until I was gonna get rid of it. One of the reasons why I am thinking about it, because initially before I bought it, backstory, initially before I bought this, I was shopping for X5 Ms. Pricing the X5 Ms was just too much at the time for me to afford because I really wanted the M3 at the same time. So I decided I could work with the 50i. I test drove one. I said, wow, this is powerful enough for me. I said, and then I bought one sliding the scene in Minnesota. Had the inspection done. It passed all the inspections. I went ahead and had it shipped here, and it's been a good car ever since. It's ceramic coated. It has the paint protection on the whole front end, headlights, fog lights, and you know, to get rid of it and go to an M, I'm losing some features. You know, for one, I'm gonna lose the comfort rear seats. I'm gonna lose the third row. I'm gonna lose the adaptive cruise control, and I think just the overall stealthy nature of just having a regular X5 that's not an M but still can perform, you know, pretty quick. Like, you know, people don't expect these things to be as fast as they are. I'm gonna lose out on those features, you know. And I know that comfort rear seats isn't even an option with the M's. Adaptive cruise control I use a lot of times in traffic, but I'm sure I could live without it. I don't have it with my daily commuter Civic, so I mean, maybe it won't be that bad. X5 M. I found one. I found two. Donington Gray, Mineral White. Donington Gray was fully optioned. It just was missing. For me, I preferred to have the 21-inch 612 wheels, not the 611 20s. The Mineral White was loaded, except it just had Bang & Olufsen and the extended, you know, the merino leather, but it was black leather, and I prefer to have the red. Now, you know, for these cars, you can't be too picky. You're not gonna find everything the way you want it. You have to decide either color options, but you can't have color options, interior color, everything the way you want it, unless you buy it brand new. It's just rare to find everything exactly the way you want it. So you had to decide. So I decided at that point between these two vehicles, priced similarly. One's a year newer, had more miles. One's a year older, had less miles, had almost half the miles. The white one, the Mineral White, had 26,000 miles, guys. I don't typically name drop dealerships, but because of what happened, I'm going to, because I'm not going to slam them, I'm not going to talk crap about them. But there's nothing wrong with me sharing my personal experience. So this Mineral White X5 M, I located it at Audi Minneapolis. So again, in Minnesota, I mean, you know, I'm buying these cars in Minnesota, so they just keep coming out of Minnesota. It also had paint protection film in the front, and it appeared to be ceramic coated just based on the sheen of the car. You know, you can almost tell a ceramic coated car because it has that glass-like protection look on the front of it. Instead of a glossy shine, just looks like a glass shell protecting the car. So emailed both dealers. They both responded back promptly. The dealer with the gray one, it just had the satin roof rails that I was kind of like, you know, I don't know. I prefer to have a shadow line, and had the 20. So I decided to go with the Mineral White just to see what happened and kind of move forward from there. So he sent me pictures, sent me videos of the car. Said, hey, we just got this car on trade-in, and I know it was just listed on CarGurus literally that day. I was hit refresh, and much just popped up, and I grabbed it. I was the only viewer, only save on CarGurus that car. The Carfax wasn't even posted yet. I ended up buying my own Carfax to look at it because I was like serious about it. And I ran the VIN number on it too to see the build sheet on it because I was serious. And now with M Decoder, you got to pay for these now. You can't. Used to be you can run the VIN number, you know, all day long, different VINs, but now they make you pay per each VIN. So I ran the build sheet, saw, okay, it has the minimum options I would accept. The minimum options I would accept is just the full merino and Bang & Olufsen. Everything else could be extra, I don't mind, but I prefer, it's gotta have Bang & Olufsen sound system. It has to have the executive package. That's what I want. And LEDs. So we changed a few texts, and I noticed it had aftermarket exhaust. He mentioned that, you know, he was out of the office because I was asking about, you know, if it did it have a different sound to it, if it's too loud, because I don't want something that's gonna be like just super loud, because you know, I'm using this car for call at work, and I don't want to be leaving at 2 o'clock in the morning when I'm called in, you know, waking up my whole street. So we talked about it. He said, I'm out of the office, but you know, I'll let you know tomorrow. And I said, no problem. I'm thinking about tonight. I'm looking between these two X5s. So I slept on it, and I actually woke up at 2 o'clock in the morning. You know, it was just, you just wake up and it's like the white one. The white one is the one to get. It's low mileage. I bought all my cars used. I never bought a brand new car before. So every car I buy is used. And they typically have anywhere from 30 to 40,000 miles when I buy them. And I feel like that's usually the peak of the depreciation. However, this one intrigued me because it's 26,000 miles. I was excited because I never had a BMW that little miles before. Or any car that little miles, to be honest with you. So I was just like, wow, this would be like a new car to me. And it's a price that I can afford. So, this is where I felt like things were going in my direction. I reached out to him the next morning. Like, I know they open early in the morning, so I reached out to him at 6:30 my local time, which would have been so 8:30 for them. Now they open up at 8 o'clock. I was like, all right, I texted him, no response. I called him, he answered, and I told him right away, hey, I'm interested in the X5 M. He said, all right, you know, I said, I'm serious. I want to move forward with buying it. I'm going to put the car on hold. You know, I'm gonna have the car inspected. I said, how much of the deposit do you need, and what do you need from me to put the car on hold? Because also too, I have bad experiences in the past where I've also placed cars on hold, or I've, you know, just did a word of mouth as we were going through financing. Someone else comes in there and swoops the car up. So I just like, you know, this is what we're gonna do. I want to buy the car. I want to put the car on hold. I'm gonna have, you know, private party inspected and have the car shipped to California. He's like, great, you know, let's get the ball rolling. He's the first thing I need from you to put the car on hold, as in your driver's license, proof of insurance, and then I'll need you to send me over a credit application. He says, and it's not for credit, but just to a safe way to obtain my social security number. I said, okay, great, that works for me. So I sent him a credit app. Now I'm already pre-approved. I built a map today too. I'm already pre-approved through my bank. So my local bank, USA, well, I said local bank, they're actually online bank. USAA gave me a really good rate, gave me a 3.28%. I was excited for it because it's a better rate than I have on my current X5. And, you know, and this is why I stress the importance of this, guys, is when you buy these, before you even shop for a car, get pre-approved. I did videos on this. Get pre-approved, because it's like cash. It's like you already saying, hey, I have the money to buy the car. All right, then that's pretty much what you're saying to a dealership. So I'm ready. We talk. He tells me more about the car. He tells me about the brake life. You know, it's got like, he just said the brakes were like, the fronts were like front tires were like 7/30 seconds, and you know, tires, and then the brakes were like 5mm. We talked a little bit more about the brakes and stuff like that. And I said, okay, great. You know, that's fine with me. I said, he told me about the exhaust. He said he told me it's aftermarket exhaust. He said the car had a stage 1 tune. I said, you know, the tune's through. You know, he said I'll be right back and find out. So he texted me back and he said, yeah, it's a BMW. It was dyno tune through BMW. I'm like, perfect. That works for me, because that is, I know who the tuner is. There's no questions when I get it. So if it is tuned, I want at least to know for a tuner, and I know if it's a reputable tuner. So I know Dyna, even though it's expensive, it's a good tuner. And I'm like, I'm ready. So now I'm getting more excited because now I'm getting a more powerful X5 M. Well, what I don't know if you guys figured out. It's like every time I do a video, it's noise. I might take this upstairs. Maybe not. Let's see. Yeah, I'm gonna go upstairs. So I'm like, you know, we were dining in tune. So I'm like, great, dining in tune. I'm excited for it. I want to do it. And he tells me that he asked me more questions about inspection. He said, do I need to bring the car over? He said, I'm willing to drop the car off to the inspector if they need to be, or, you know, you can, I said, well, my guy they'll usually show up to the dealership and do an inspection there on site. He said that works out. And then it was like maybe an hour goes by. He texted me. He said, just so you know, the price, it's going to be like that price. You're not going to like try to negotiate based on certain things. I said, I already know it's a good price. I mean, I'm not going to, unless the engine or the transmission is about to fall out, or the car's been in some severe accident that you guys didn't know about, I'm not going to back out of the deal. He's like, all right. So then another like 2 hours go by, because I talked to him 6:30 local time. So this was noon, I'll say about 12:30 local time for me. I get a phone call. This was a phone call that I hated to hear. He says, you know, I'm sorry to tell you this, but there was already someone else that was going to buy that car that had a hold on it. He said that the last consultant that supposedly put the hold did not go through the right steps, the steps that I took with me and him to place the car on hold. So, unbeknownst to him, he didn't even know. He just follow protocol, got my documents, placed the car on hold on the computer. The car is now officially on hold. So there's a sign in the car, says it's on hold. But now suddenly, like hours later, they changed their mind and said no. And I was confused. I said, well, if I place the car on hold, then it's my car, not whoever just walks in the door and says, oh, by the way, I had that car on hold. Or the salesman, whoever the other salesman was, that said, oh, no way, I was working a deal on that car. Because if they didn't hold it, then they don't get it. You know, that's just the way it works. If I never told them I want to put the car on hold and we just talking numbers and talking, and then someone swoops it up from under me, then that's just what happens, because I never said I was ready to go with it. I was just talking about it. But I make sure from the get-go, I want to buy it. Here's my financing. I'm ready to go. Where do I send financing? I'm ready to send it, to get the ball rolling for financing process, get the bank over so they can fund it and we can move forward with it. And I can arrange for a transporter to come pick the car up. So I'm aggravated. I can just feel it boiling. I hung up the phone. I said, okay. I said, I talked to your manager. He's like, well, manager can tell me the same thing. So I was just upset. I called Lexi. I said, this is what happened. She said, she can't believe it. She said, well, why are you even folding over? I was like, you're right. I don't know why I'm not. I was just so disappointed. I just kind of like just needed to cool down for a minute. So I tried to call the manager. Of course, no answer. I'm getting aggravated. I call new car manager, left them a very descriptive voicemail, no answer. I am now calling back. Now I'm blowing their phones because I am getting aggravated with this, because the more I thought about it, the more I felt like, wait a minute. Now, I talked to them close to the end of the day on, I think it was Tuesday last week. Now, Wednesday morning, first thing in the morning, I mean, they were only open for a half hour. I had placed that car on hold. So why, like, 5 hours later, they just not finding out that someone else had it on hold? What transpired between then? That didn't make sense to me. So I left them a voicemail and I said, please, Audi Minneapolis, this is not how you run your business. Please tell me this is not what you're gonna do to me right now, because if the other consultant did not place the other car, even though if he took it to word of mouth, or the guy sent him a, to say, hey, by the way, hold that car for me, I'll be back tomorrow. and he didn't go through with it, then technically that's not his car. So I was disappointed. I was aggravated. I finally get the general manager reached out to me. I tell her the same story. She said, no, that's not what happened. She said someone got there first thing in the morning and was working, and apparently while you and another guy were working a deal, someone else was working a deal. And I said, that's not fair, because it took hours later before you guys even found it out. He said, well, she's like, well, you guys working remotely. And I said, well, remotely or not, I said, once I placed the car, once the car was placed on hold for me, then it wasn't placed on hold for him or whoever, him or her, whoever was buying it. It wasn't. I said, let me guess. I said, it's just easier to sell the car right there locally than to mess with the guy from California who you don't know, you haven't seen yet. You're just thinking that you're not taking them seriously. I said, I told you I'm serious. I told everybody serious. I said, I have financing. I said, I am ready to go. I'm serious. Like, what was that hard to do? I mean, what was that so hard? She said, I totally understand. She said, sometimes those things just happen. Now, personally, I feel like no one walked in there or waited at the door to place that car on hold or whatever they apparently happened, because they weren't even open that long. They were only open for maybe 20 minutes when I called them. And even then, when I placed it on hold, he would have called me right back and said, sorry, when I put it on there, this is what happened. It wouldn't have took him almost the end of the day to figure that out. So I think two things happened. Either someone walked in the door and offered to, like, you know, pay more, or just say, hey, look, I'm really buy this car, or they just didn't want to sell it to me for, I don't know, whatever reason. I don't know why. Because I mean, like I said, I sent them. I followed all the steps, guys. You know, he told me all he needed was my driver's license and my proof of insurance. And I don't know. I'm disappointed. Me. The only person that didn't was my black X5 Minnesota. I asked him a couple questions about it, and his first response to me was like, place the car on hold for a $500 deposit. Sure. Okay. She's okay. So I put the deposit down, sent him my credit card, and put the deposit down it. Then he put the car on hold, put it on there, sold to me. Meanwhile, they didn't sell the car. I had it inspected and went to my process. And it took, you know, they were going through a polar vortex at the time. And this was Wolf Motors Ford in Minnesota, Jordan, Minnesota. So they were very helpful with me. I liked working with them. They're very kind. Told me everything about the car. Even we had a couple of registration issues with the title and stuff like that towards the end, but they were still, you know, helpful with that. However, this whole experience with Audi Minneapolis, I just felt that wasn't professional. I think if it comes down to it, someone properly put a car on hold, regardless, you know, if someone was there in person or not, or took, whatever it was, just a word of mouth. I don't think that's how it should go. I mean, yeah, I know deals happen at the same time, but also too, we were several hours deep into this. Like I had already scheduled the PPI guy to arrive at the dealership, and they were closed, so I had to call them the next morning and say, hey, don't go to the dealership because they sold the car. So I don't know, guys. Let me know your thoughts on it. If you guys are in new car sales, let me know if that, you know, what happens if that's a common occurrence. I mean, I know I've been to dealerships before where I've called about a car, and they told me the car had just been sold, you know, and this happened. I said, well, the only thing I say is we'll just call me back if anything happens and you might change your mind. And I've also walked in and been looking at a car and had someone else look at the same car. So, for example, I bought my M3, and then apparently someone else was going to fly down or drive down. I don't know. They just said, they didn't tell me this during the process. They told me after I bought the M3. They told me, well, if you didn't buy it, somebody else was going to get it. And I guess, you know, apparently dealership doesn't take holds. Now, if dealers don't take holds, because I have been that experience, if dealership won't take a hold then I won't even waste my time with them as much because I'm out of state. If I'm local, it's different. If I'm far away, I don't want to go through a process and then someone walks to the door and grabs it and snatches the car out. That's just how it works. If I'm out of state, I'm not far away, place the car on hold, do something for me because I'm coming, you know? So, and like I said, I'd like to show good faith, obviously, by placing the deposit on the vehicle to let them know this, I am, and this dealership didn't take deposits, but they still, obviously, they told me that what they needed to do holds. I don't know, guys, I'm just disappointed. But my other option, I said there was two X5s, right? X5 Ms. So I'm not that disappointed. I have another one that we're gonna work out some numbers on, and if everything goes accordingly, I'll know an answer maybe tomorrow. I'm not getting my hopes up too much. I mean, they seem like a good dealer so far. We've been maintaining communication. He says, well, the car is on hold for me, and we'll touch base on Monday. So we'll see on Monday, and we'll see what happens. So I'm not trying to get my hopes up, because the last thing I want is for me to someone else to come in and then he calls me tomorrow morning and says, hey, sorry, we thought we had the car hold for you and someone else bought it. So it's disappointing. It's not the first time. Before I bought this black one, I had found a Long Beach blue X5 M. I paid $200, had it inspected, and then the dealer said, hey, are you still interested? I said, yes, I am. I said, I'm reading over the inspection sheet right now. He says, well, I got someone here right now ready to buy it. I said, okay. And I was at work. By the time I was actually, where I work, sometimes I'm not able to get to my phone right away. And, excuse me, apparently he called me while I was doing a procedure. And by the time I got out of the procedure, he had already sold the car. So I was disappointed, but you know, it seems like it keeps, it's one of those things, you know, and that seems like it doesn't matter if you had a deposit or not, because one time I did have a $500 deposit. This was years ago with my ex-wife. Bought a Lexus RX 400H, and this was at a place called Chicago Motor Cars, and had the deposit, told them I'd come back. This was when I was going to the credit union for financing. So the credit union wanted me to bring back the buyer's order and all these other couple of documents, and I'm buying it out of state. I said, okay, and then during the process, okay, I'm ready, here I am, here's my documents. And they said, we sold it. So I'm like, WTF, like really? So, guys, I don't know. If this doesn't work out again, I don't know, I may give up, I don't know, guys. It feels like I'm getting roadblocks when I'm trying to tune it. I'm getting roadblocks when I'm trying to trade it. I'm getting roadblocks everywhere, and you know, I'm getting exhausted. Also, too, if you follow the channel, just last thing I want to throw in here, Lexi did buy a car. We traded in her Lexus i350. I was going to sell her privately, but dealer gave us a really good deal on the trade-in. You know, so we did. If you follow my Instagram, you probably have already seen it. But I'll be posting that here shortly. But guys, thanks for watching.